find boring quite luxury, to be honest with you. Even though I have a white sweater, I don't want to design quite luxury.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to your job interview.
Thank you.
Great, let's get started. Nadège, you have the kind of career that women in fashion school dream of. You worked alongside Martin Margiela, known for his tabby shoes, collaborated with Phoebe Philo during her iconic tenure at Celine, served as the design director in the early years of the Olsen's label The Row, and now you're the artistic director of women's ready-to-wear at Hermès, where you've quietly powered one of the house's fastest-growing divisions. What's the key to your success?
I guess it's I don't give up.
When do you first remember hearing the word Hermès?
It's quite present in the French landscape. People know Hermès because of the bag, because of the perfume, the tie, the silk carré. For me, it was really connected with the scarf of my mum.
Where were you when Hermès called with the offer of artistic director in 2014?
Far away from fashion. I was in Japan, in Okinawa. It took me 2 phone calls to really realize that it was Hermès. I was like, seriously? And I said, oh, let me think about it, and then I was just like, oh my God, this was really the people of Hermès, it's not a prank, it's really an amazing offer. There's this aura of mystery. And therefore, when it's mysterious, it's not really reachable. So I never kind of project myself at Hermès.
Was there a specific challenge the house wanted you to accomplish?
The direction is quite elegant and discreet and free. And I think once they understand that you share the values, they're like, okay, show us what it's all about.
Which collection are you most proud of?
I'm very proud of a project that happened during COVID where we developed a triptych. We had a performance in New York, 1 performance in Paris, and 1 performance in Shanghai. And the collection was done remotely. We all underwent the COVID restrictions, so I think it was a victory.
Hermès began as a horse saddle maker, and the influence can still be felt today. What have you had to learn about horses during your tenure at Hermès?
Well, not riding horses yet, but definitely about horse coats. There are so many different species of horses, and that has been a very interesting road to see and to develop colors from horses, right? It's a vector of community, of culture. Horses have been very instrumental to humankind.
I know you've become well acquainted with leather. Tell me a little bit about that.
I worked previously with leather, but not to these standards. So you really start to acquire a certain vocabulary, you start to have a good eye, but you also start to develop a hand. And it's in the hand that you kind of understand, okay, this is the perfect material for a coat or for a jacket. Oh, we could kind of stretch it to a different technique. I wanted to reintroduce some very old school traditions in the leather goods to the ready-to-wear, but I also wanted to bring the skills of flue or draping or lightness to a level where you would not even imagine that it's leather. We even managed to apply leather on knitwear mesh, which is as light as the weather, a feather.
What stood out to you as uniquely Hermès from the beginning?
Well, first of all, you work to an atelier, which is not a studio. The studio is really where you have the designers, where they develop the concepts, or it's more about sketching, draping. But in workshop, you have the leather, the materials, you hear the hammer clinking, you hear the machine working. Things are created on site.
Quiet luxury has become a bit of a buzzword over the past few years. What are your thoughts on the term?
I find boring quite luxury, to be honest with you. Even though I have a white sweater, I don't want to design quite luxury. That's what I mean. I never actually think of luxury first. I think about sophistication and attractability. I don't want to disguise something with luxury. I'm quite wary of the word luxury.
I want to go back to the beginning. Were you taught any fashion rules by your parents when you were a kid?
Red was not matching with red hair.
Who told you that?
My mum. That was really a big kind of guidelines. And I was just like, oh. When I was a bit more older, I saw this very badass dress. It was red with black Pantera. And I was like, oh my God, this is the dress. And it was red. And I started since then to collect those little red dresses.
You've previously described yourself as a punk. Why do you identify as that?
I always think of the reference of straightforwardness. Of course, with punk, you think of rebellion, but it's really about freedom and doing what you want, yeah.
On first glance, that seems rather contradictory to the classic nature of Hermès. But is it?
There's definitely a rebellious side with the house of Hermès in terms of like not wanting to chase the trends. It always has been a house which is focused on their own way, their own style, and I find it quite rebellious too.
Before Hermès, you worked with a bunch of different designers. Who has been your greatest mentor?
Andre Walker, American designer. I had a very quick experience with him. Moved to Paris, I started the school, and I had this opportunity to work on his fashion show, and it was so interesting to see someone who has such groundbreaking ideas and a great sense of proportion and class and humor. That was really cool, yeah.
Margiela was also at Hermès, correct?
Yeah.
Did he give you any sort of advice when you were coming here?
Yes. He said, Nadège, really be sensible with the archives. Choose well, but also make sure that you have everything. Really cultivate your archival gesture.
You've been at Hermès for 10 years now. What's kept you here?
Passion.
Did you think you'd be in this moment when you were in fashion school?
No. I think I was really arty. I studied in Antwerp. It's a fine art academy, and fashion is a more an artistic expression than a business expression. But it's not business here, it's different, it's craftsmanship, yeah.
What would you tell a young designer in fashion school today?
Don't be hard with yourself, Don't be hard with yourself. Keep it open, discover, play, because then it's becoming a job, and in the job, then you need to do, certain compromise also. It's really a moment of exploration.
You've previously said you wanted to discover the hidden face of Hermès.
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
No, it's still a mystery, and that's what is exciting. It's almost like you don't want to discover everything. You want to keep things a bit undercover for pushing it further.